Hello, and welcome to the minigrid moment, powering communities across Africa. I am Lamide Niafia, CEO of the Africa Minigrid Developers Association, AMDA. At AMDA, we believe minigrids are more than just infrastructure. They are catalysts for change, driving opportunity, resilience, and inclusive growth across the continent. The Minigrid Moment series is about telling those stories of visionaries, innovators, and communities transforming lives through reliable, clean energy. This podcast was made possible with support from INENSIS and the World Bank's Energy Sector Management Assistance Program, ESMAP. Their commitment to advancing sustainable energy access continues to power stories like these ones, showcasing how innovation and community-driven solutions are transforming lives across Africa. I invite you to listen, learn, and enjoy the podcast.
Welcome to the Minigrid Moment, powering communities across Africa, the podcast where we spotlight pioneers transforming energy access across the continent. I am your host, Shali Kisuya. Today, we journey to Somalia to tell the story of TAMARSO. In a country where the sun shines bright nearly every day, millions still live without reliable electricity. But in recent years, something remarkable has been happening in Somalia. A quiet revolution powered by the sun. From bustling markets in Mogadishu to remote fishing villages along the coastline, communities are switching on a new kind of light. Clean, affordable, and life-changing. This is the story of TAMARSO, a Somali-born renewable energy company determined to brighten lives and power progress, one minigrid at a time. TAMARSO's story began in 2016 when Shamarke Abdul Kadir, a Somali entrepreneur returning home from the Netherlands, saw a problem that many had learned to live with: expensive, polluting, unreliable energy. Here is Shamarke Abdul Kadir explaining the vision behind TAMARSO.
When I came back to Somalia from the Netherlands, where I've been living for a very long time, I realized that all the businesses and families living in Somalia at that time were using either diesel generator or they were using electricity supplied by grid operators who were supplying from diesel mini grids. I saw it as something which is not sustainable, and I wanted to make electricity more affordable, more reliable, and something that people could depend on. And that was my goal at that time when I came to Somalia in 2016.
With little background in renewable energy but a clear vision, Shamarke founded TAMARSO, a name that means to get energy in Somali. His mission was simple but ambitious: to bring clean, reliable power to Somalia's homes, businesses, and institutions.
Yes, our dreams was to brighten Somalia, to bring energy that fuels growth, to power livelihoods, and to do it in a way that protects our environment and that creates jobs. This is different than only thinking about profit or thinking about establishing a company which is very successful, but also I never lost eye on the bigger goal, which is contributing something to the people.
From the very beginning, TAMARSO's vision was about more than lights and panels. It was about opportunity, helping small businesses grow, improving education, powering health facilities, and reducing dependence on diesel. Shamarke Abdul Kadir explains further.
When we started, we could not have thought of the expansion that we went through in the last 2-3 years. And now we even have operations in Kenya, soon to go to Ethiopia, of course. I think we have set a goal to do more and more mini grids in these three countries, and we target to reach 50,000 households within the next 4 years in 2030. So it's a big challenge. I think we are working towards that. And next year we have a lot of plans and that will kick us up to that goal.
Today, that dream is alive in every project, guided by TAMARSO's values of integrity, reliability, innovation, and community partnership. Starting with just 2 employees in Mogadishu's Bakaro market, TAMARSO installed its first 17-kilowatt solar system, a small but powerful beginning. Since then, the company has expanded its services, from powering small shops and health centers to building full-scale solar mini-grids that light up entire villages. Listen to TAMARSO customers whose lives have been impacted positively by the access to clean and reliable electricity.
Since we received electricity, I was able to start a small business selling beverages. I bought a new fridge, which allowed me to work for myself and generate a steady income. Because of this business, I can now send my children to school, and I am able to cover all their expenses through the earnings I make. Electricity has changed my life. I can manage my household needs, support my family, and even save a little from my business. We are truly grateful. Before TAMARSO's intervention, the village lived in darkness and faced major challenges with electricity. We relied on a small generator that operated only in the evenings, from 6 p.m. to around 9 p.m. Because of this limited power, children struggled with their studies, families had no proper lighting, and moving around the village at night was difficult and unsafe. After TAMARSO's installed the mini-grid in Abaidahan Waine, everything changed. Children are now able to study in the evenings, homes and public areas have reliable lighting, and the community can move around safely at night and see who enters the village. The village has become brighter, more secure, and full of new hope. We are grateful to TAMARSO for their transformative work.
Across Somalia, TAMARSO has connected over 5,000 families, hundreds of businesses, and institutions like schools and hospitals, providing clean energy to more than 30,000 people and creating hundreds of jobs. Behind every TAMARSO installation lies innovation, from European-grade solar panels to locally fabricated inverter enclosures and an in-house universal monitoring system that tracks energy generation in real time. Here is a TAMARSO engineer explaining why remote monitoring is critical to their business.
With our digital monitoring system, we can see performance from anywhere. If there is fault, we get an alert and fix it before customer even notices. That's what reliability means to us.
The company also designs flexible financing models like lease-to-own and power purchase agreements, making solar affordable even for small enterprises and rural communities. As the founder of TAMARSO puts it, the true measure of success is not in kilowatts, it's in lives changed. Here is Shamarki.
I will never forget that night that we switched on the electricity in one of the mini grids, our first mini grid. It's a small coastal village, and we also did only not electrification of the houses, but we also had several poles some light. So we turned on a certain moment. We said we counted from 10. And we turned on the electricity, and the whole village electrified. So that night I was there, and I could not believe what happened. It's the amazing joy of the people when you turn off electricity. I think some people take example, kids studying at night and all these things. But for me, is having light, walking around the streets at night, children going outside also at nighttime. It still gives me, that's the greatest feeling for me up until this moment.
From solar-powered water pumps for farmers to refrigerated vaccine storage in health clinics, TAMARSO's work goes beyond energy. It's powering livelihoods, empowering women, and enabling young technicians to build careers in clean energy. TAMARSO's growth has been made possible through partnerships with the Somali government, international NGOs, DFIs, and financial institutions like Galaxy Bank and CIMA. These collaborations bring together innovation, financing, and trust, unlocking clean energy for communities that have waited decades to turn on the lights. But the journey hasn't been easy. From financing hurdles to policy gaps and community skepticism, TAMARSO has faced its share of challenges. Shamarke explains.
One of our biggest challenges, I think two of our biggest challenges was that people did not understood what solar could mean for them. And secondly, when we said it costs so much money, they used to say, hey, this is too expensive for us. So it was an educational challenge for us to teach people it can work with air conditioning, with refrigerators. It was challenging for us in the beginning. I think in the first 2-3 years, we had a very difficult in convincing people. Maybe we saw like 30 customers a month, and then maybe 2 or 3 customers a month. We convinced them to go for solar. So I think still the challenge is there. Solar is expensive still, and a lot of people don't understand it yet. But it is now becoming more and more thing to buy.
Through perseverance, training, and community engagement, TAMARSO has turned obstacles into lessons, showing what's possible when innovation meets determination.
Since the start of TAMARSO, it has been now close to 10 years. I think a lot of things have been done, and I think some milestones will never be forgotten. One of it is, I already talked about, is the first time we turned on a mini grid in a coastal village. But also when that we have employed a lot of youth, including women engineers. I always say women engineers are one of the best team members that we have, because they can manage systems online, offline, and they are mostly quality driven. So it's for me a change in TAMARSO's history. Also, we are now much focusing on the mini grid side of the business, because it creates much more impact than CNI projects, as we have been doing for many years. I think overall in 10 years we have done. If I look in the next 10 years coming, we will be creating much more impact than we have created already. And we want to work with the rest of the developers community, of course, to support us on these challenges.
Through perseverance, training, and community engagement, TAMARSO has turned obstacles into lessons, showing what's possible when innovation meets determination. Looking forward, TAMARSO's ambitions shine even brighter. The company plans to build more than a dozen new mini-grids along Somalia's coastline and expand into Kenya and Ethiopia. Shamarke is bullish.
Our dream is to brighten Somalia and to bring energy that fuels growth, that powers livelihoods, and to do it in a way that protects our environment and creates jobs. I can say we are moving forward with the developers community in the world, and we are taking the steps necessary to build environment which is also possible for the future.
With plans to integrate wind systems, hybrid grids, and new digital solutions, TAMARSO is shaping not only Somalia's energy future, but also a new narrative for African innovation and resilience. From a single 17-kilowatt system to thousands of lights across Somalia, TAMARSO's journey is proof that homegrown solutions can power nations. Here is a TAMARSO customer explaining the hope.
Before TAMARSO, we lived in darkness with limited access to electricity. Today, we have reliable light and a renewed sense of hope. I am a member of the Abaidahan community and a fisherman. Before electricity, returning from night fishing was difficult because the village had no lights or visible markers. It was often so dark that we sometimes lost our way. Now, with electricity, we can easily identify the village from a distance when coming back at night. We also have refrigerators to store our fish, something we never had before. Electricity has truly improved our work and daily life.
TAMARSO is more than an energy company. It's a symbol of what happens when vision meets purpose, when a nation harnesses its greatest resource, the sun. You've been listening to the minigrid moment, powering communities across Africa. To learn more about TAMARSO's work, visit tamarso.com. This podcast has been made possible with support from INANSA's and the World Bank's Energy Sector Management Assistance Program, ASMAP. Their commitment to advancing sustainable energy access continues to empower stories like this one, showcasing how innovation and community-driven solutions are transforming lives across Africa.